healing that needs to happen in the world. And I just think these folks just are not really sure or equipped on how to deal with whatever issues they have with them. And it's unfortunate because innocent people are dying because of it.
Right, because you have issues with others and then you're taking them out on innocent people, and that makes no sense whatsoever. Now, Obama Center is to bring world to the, is to bring the world to the South Side youth. In a recent article in the Tribune, former First Lady, we love her, Michelle Obama, she led a cogency of world leaders. Among them was Prince Harry of England, and they gave a surprise visit to Hyde Park High School. Go Hyde Park High School, yes. And this was another one of their major events to advance the construction, obviously, of the center to come. Yes, over there in Jackson Park. So there's a strong possibility of the center bringing a sense of self-worth to the community. And that's what you were just talking about, right?
It is very, very important, just in any, especially our South Side and our West Side communities of color. You have to do everything possible, pull out all the punches to really get people to value our areas and value our community, and that's exactly what I have to do.
Right, but it first starts, like one would say, with a self.
Yeah.
Right. So it is. It begins to believe that you have your self-worth first.
That is.
Because the more you look for it in somebody else, the harder it is to actually find it. And the moment you are unexpectedly disappointed because your expectations are met, and this is when you snap.
Yeah, exactly. And you have those situations like we just had in Texas.
Right. So you have to find it for yourself, and then if there is some personal issue, maybe then seek real help.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because we've come to realize, and I'm sure in your work, a lot of it is a mental, really a body / a physical issue that one doesn't even know that they have sometimes.
Yeah, oh my God, I always talk about that. I actually want to get my PhD in community psychology because I've noticed a lot of folks who actually do a lot of the work in the communities are dealing with so many mental issues. And it's crazy because they haven't looked into self to really figure out what is the issues that they need to deal with. So they project it and try to help the homeless or help the poor or help the underserved, but never have thought about what is going on with inside of them. So everybody has asked me, how do you do rage? And I always tell people it's an internal plight that I had to come to grounds with first before I could tell you the how to.
The how to.
It's really the why that's really important.
Right, and RAGE, let's tell everybody since you mentioned it, RAGE stands for Resident Association of Greater Inglewood.
That's right. That's right.
And so you found this company, this organization, and we're going to talk all about it. But now the Obama Center, we just want to also say that the Obama Center presents a great opportunity for the Southside youth to experience many levels of American life through their perspective, which is nice.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. So now also, finally, Puerto Rico, the Illinois National Guard troops are heading that way.
Oh, good.
It's only been what, right? Maybe 2 months or so, So 150 Illinois National Guard troops deployed to Puerto Rico on this past Saturday morning, Governor Bruce Rauner announced. So the troops will join around 60 Illinois Air National Guard airmen already helping with reliefs. While in Puerto Rico, the troops will provide additional security, escort relief convoys, and conduct law enforcement patrols. So I know that I gave, last week I was saying that I have a high school, actually, big sister from Limp Home, Monique Carradine Kitchens, is in Puerto Rico, and she has just been, also doing grounds work, hands work, just between her and her church members, collecting items that people may send and then giving them out directly to the individuals on the ground. They need flashlights, they need obviously battery operated flashlights, and then the batteries to go in the flashlights, of course, adult diapers of all sizes, first aid kits, can openers, because they might have access to some canned food, but then they need a can opener. So manual ones, not the electric ones, because your mind has to reset itself to say, I'm in the woods, basically. And what would I need and how can I use it, because I can't plug it in, I have no Wi-Fi access, what is it that I can do?
Basics, just going right back to the basics.
Absolute basics.
We sometimes take for granted.
That's what I'm saying, because she had to say manual can openers because your thought might be an electric can opener. So, you know, that's a good thought. And again, I apologize. I said I was going to post on my page the address where it is to be mailed, but I'm going to make that happen. As well as I'm going to remind everybody that I am looking for an intern. So I don't know if you got any youth over there. I am looking for an intern, a social media guru / might want to be in the, you know, radio, production, TV background, because they can get some experience while working here a couple of days out the week.
But now I know. I'm put the word out.
Yes, put the word out that they can email their resume to urbanbroadcastmedia@gmail.com, urbanbroadcastmedia@gmail.com. And in the subject line, put Empower Intern, okay? So that's what they want to do. Did you know that Willie Wilson is stepping up to run for mayor?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes. So Dr. Willie Wilson Tuesday announced that he has formed a mayoral exploratory committee to end the tale of two cities in Chicago. You know, so Rahm Emanuel, watch out, you know, as this is coming. So we shall see how that turns out and what it is that we have going on. We're going to listen to a little bit of music right now. You are again listening to Empower Hour on Urban Broadcast Media with your host Bertina Power and my in-studio guest, Asia Butler. We're going to get back to talking to her about what it is that she does and how she continues to do good in the hood. All right, we'll be right back after these messages. Hey!
I love your voice.
Thank you. Right, so this is how I got here.
Right.
Voice, right? So, you know, I had no idea about it. Huh?
They've always told me like I had a
yeah, you sound pretty good on the show. Yeah. I have had people go, you know, all the time, like, Bertina, are you on the radio? Do you sing? I go, sing. Now, you don't want to hear me sing. No.
Yeah,
hey, Tamiko Scott, she's chiming in. Hey, Cheryl.
She's the one who watched me.
Hey, my sister.
I saw Mark Allen.
Yeah, Mark Allen. He comes in after this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes in. James Vent, Austin Topic, Spanky Pickles, he was on Friday. Mark Allen, he said, I admire this young sister so much, where she is today from when we first met her. She is structured, focused, and positioned. Go, girl. Hey, cuz. Hey, Jabron and Perry and Dwayne and Gabron and Sherry and Marcia. Hey. Thanks, Marcia, for joining in. Keith and hey, cousin Gina and Mr. Speller watching up there.
Oh my God, like Mike's little followers.
Yeah. Hey, Rachel, she just joined. Hey, Cheryl. Yes, hey.
I'm sure you're live right now.
Yes.
I'm your friend.
Thanks for all my hearts and likes, guys.
Oh God, it's so crazy to see yourself live.
I know, right? Hey.
Yeah, I haven't been on. I think the last time I was on here, Africa.
Now you said you have a daughter though, right?
Yeah, I do.
And just the
My
one.
only child. Yep.
And you said living in Inglewood with her was one of those real reasons that you know.
Yeah, well, I even got started with the education work that I was doing first, because it really was around the advocacy around the elementary schools for her to go to in Inglewood, and at the time when she was going, we just had so many issues in terms of having the best quality education for her. So she actually had to go in Woodlawn, to Woodlawn Community School. And then I was like, you know, I have to find her something. It's not fair for us to live in the community, own property in the community, and not be able to go to school in the community. And so 7th and 8th, I tried again. Look at the touch scores at the school, really met with certain schools, toured schools, and then 7th and 8th, she wound up going to Turner Drew, and then finally high school, she did Limbo.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, you know, I can't talk about the assets and the great things in my community if I'm not also utilizing
Right.
And then it also helped me fight for the young people who may not be fortunate enough for, you know, parents to research or look and get the best education.
Right.
So,
Because that's access. You know, access and people and resources. Which doesn't happen a lot if you don't even know that that's where I'm supposed to be going to look for stuff. You know, a lot of times people expect to sit back and have something come directly to them or given to them, as I say. You know, what's that word? That is just like, you know, entitled.
Yeah. So when I start going into the schools, that's when I start really seeing it definitely was inequity in the schools in Inglewood. And so just really working and fighting towards that. And still doing it, even though she's off, but she's in college, she's in Spelman.
Yay,
doing great. She's doing
Spelman.
great. She's actually texting me today, told me that I need to give her some hot crunchy curls.
Oh, that's what we look like?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
But no, she had a full ride, which I can talk about on the air.
Yeah, we'll talk about her. We gotta talk about my HBCUs.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an HBCU girl too. Absolutely, we're gonna talk about that.
Hey, ladies. Hey, Rachel.
Hey, Yolanda. That's right. Yeah, Yolanda was there. Yeah, right. That's right. Of course you know Yolanda. Yes.
There was a lot of people that I knew that was there, or either connected with them in some type of way.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what they said. You know about how small the world is. It's not really, 6 degrees of separation anymore. Hey, everybody. Yes, no longer is it that.
Yeah, they had some really great. I had some really great honorees yesterday.
Huh?
They really were inspiring honorees.
Listen,
yesterday.
and I get a lot of credit, quote unquote, as the president.
Yeah.
But that committee did, all the work. Yeah, and they took the submissions and everything.
Cool.
And so, and they did that work. And hey, we are back on Empower Hour, and you are listening to Bertina Power Urban Broadcast Media, and I have with me Aisha Butler, Mrs. Inglewood. Make sure you get the Mrs. right because she's married to Inglewood.
Yes,
she is a grassroots community strategist, innovator, facilitator, natural born leader, property owner, peace and education activist, all for the greater Inglewood. Hello, good afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited for this opportunity. As I was telling everybody earlier, I was able to, as the president of Agarama Foundation, be able to ask and continue honoring our honorees that we did on yesterday with an opportunity to get a little bit more. I know the structured lunch is hard. We say a little bit about you and then we go into let you say thank you, and then that's it, right? And so you take your pretty award and then you go home and put it on your list and your shelf. I know, right? They should have so given me one just because. But anyway. But this is about you and the 5 honorees, and yours fell under our target under educational enrichment, right? And so that was just perfect because that's target 1. You're here on the first day. So tell us. So you're a resident of Inglewood, born and raised.
Born and raised. So my mother and father, my grandfather, really pretty much both sides of my family were like homeowners in the Inglewood community. And so my mom and dad, I've always told the story, my mom and dad actually met on 63rd and Halsted.
When it was 63rd and Halsted. When it was shopping center.
She was working at a shopping center and they were flirting. And so we grew up there in Inglewood. And then my mom moved a little bit farther. They split. And she went to like New City, which people really call North Inglewood. And my grandparents stayed in Inglewood. And then at 17, I left my mom's house and then I went and moved with my grandfather. And so I've been in Inglewood ever since.
Been in Inglewood ever since. And so then you too have a daughter you raised in Inglewood. And she, based on what I heard and understand, is your why to some part of what it is that got you going.
She's definitely part of the why. She was also the why I was going to leave the community because I just recently shared a story at the City Bureau around how when I bought my property, I was really excited because the new King College wasn't built yet, and they were telling me that my property value would go through the roof, and that Inglewood was on a come up, and this was like 2002, and at that time, but my block was not on the come up.
And somebody didn't get the memo over here.
So what wound up happening is somebody shot, a bullet went through our house. Then somebody climbed through my daughter's window. We wasn't there. They tried to rob us, and it was just drama on the block. And literally, we were gonna pack up and leave and move to Atlanta, where all of my father's family had relocated out of Inglewood. They went to the south, and then I really just was looking outside and just was like, you know, if I leave, I'm just like everyone else will flee
everybody
the
else
community. And you know, and we had, you know, had some really good relationships with the young people. We wasn't involved in the community at all at the time, but we at least went to school with people there. I went to Catholic school, all in Inglewood. My husband went to Bass, he went to Curie. So we were like, you know, let's try to stick it out. And when I did that, I started volunteering for whoever would have me in Inglewood, and I just kind of became this super volunteer. And that kind of started the journey of way before I even started Rage, was really figuring out how I can give value to organizations that already existed in the community.
So you were working with everybody from the educators to, you know, to the youth groups, to
parents, youth groups, schools. And the reason that I had started Rage is because I was coming to a lot of these meetings and building with a lot of different people and agencies and organizations, but it wasn't a really clear resident voice there. Like the people who live there was not making the decisions about what would happen in our community. And so I just thought it was so important to make sure that community was at the forefront, the people who live there
and want to stay there.
This is our choice to be there. We should be the ones who are bringing people to our table, which made us start Rage and say, you know, we're going to bring our own table. You're not going to tell me to come to your table. You're going to come to my table.
Absolutely. They say if you're not sitting at the table, you are getting the scraps from the table because you're not at the conversation. So you decided that the conversation will become from within out and not coming outside telling me what I need, what I don't need, you know, how I should do it and everything else. And that's always key to regentrification in areas in the community, but most of the time, as you see, being from the resident, you'll get more buy-in from those locals, would you not say? Because they're like, oh, okay, well, she knows us, and she knows, you know, such and so who hangs out on the corner, and, you know, she's been here.
I look at the residents, they're the community experts. They can tell you what areas are the areas to really invest in. They can let you know what's happening on blocks. They're at the forefront of any changes in the community, and so if they're not a part of the conversation, it's just going to basically fail. And so so when I started seeing that it was more people like myself who really was like, I want to do something and I want to do more and I want to change this negative narrative of Inglewood, we all just got on a call and was like, regardless if we're divided into 6 or 5 different automatic wards, this is one community. And we all have the same issues and we all should be working together to work through those issues.
And that is definitely what happens over there in Inglewood. You all have several aldermen based on what street and what side and where you cut off. And so, because I know Alderman, so I'm at 6220 South Ingleside as President of Akarama, and Willie B. Cochran is ours. But Willie B.'s ward extends over there into your side, you know, as well, which is across the highway.
Yeah, everybody has a piece of Inglewood. It's like 16th ward has the majority, but we have the 17th, 16th, 15th, 20th, and the 6th ward. And a little bitty small portion of the 3rd ward. It was actually more before the remap.
Yeah, I remember the remap.
So we now, you know, we fought to have really one automatic ward that didn't work.
Not yet. That's not yet. You all keep working on it, and you know you'll get there. But you all have been involved in doing a lot of things, from the planning process to some other things. What other things did I see?
So me myself, I was doing a lot of work around education, which is I'm so glad I got that honor because I was working with Black Star Project. I was the president of the community PTA. I was on the LSC at Robeson. I also was the co-chair of the Inglewood Community Action Council. So it really was because our residents, if like schools and community is not working together, we're just gonna fail. And so I did a lot of work around that area, but then when we started working with Rage and the residents, people was interested in youth development, they was interested in civic engagement, and interested in economic development. So that made us study some other bigger issues like tax increment financing and other things.
All right, so that sounds like a very good start to how Rage came about. We're going to have to take a station break and have you all, and we'll come right back with Asia Butler and Rage and Mrs. Inglewood, as she has claimed. You are listening to Urban Broadcast Media. This is Bertina Power and Urban broadcastmedia.com if you want to log in and listen to the music in the station break. We'll be right back. Yeah, it's because everybody can hear us live.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
They can see us live, but then these individuals can't hear what's going on.
Oh,
so, yeah. Hey, Yoshi. Hey, Latrice. He's like, Mark said he'd be in trouble if he didn't stop and say, you know, he was a veteran. Yeah, you know.
He did introduce
Hey, Will Malone. And Yoshi and Denise is chimed in. Denise is one of the members of Akarama, and she says congratulations again.
Thank you so much, Denise. Yeah, now they can hear me, right?
They can hear us, right? Because we're going through here. Yeah, cool. I know, I was just like, I don't know what's going on with this hair over here on the side, y'all. Y'all know how I am. It's funny because I didn't roll it like I was supposed to. Okay, now I can leave it alone. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
So now, do you have any events going on or a program that we want to share? Like, think about the kind of things you would want to share with an audience that you currently have right now that you wouldn't do. And then,
so we have
what is the big ask?
Yeah.
Like, would you, what could somebody do if they wanted to help Rage, out right now? So I'll ask that question and you'll be able to answer that.
Yeah.
So, what people can do to assist you, or who can join, so that your Rage is for the Inglewood.
No, it's members and non-residents.
Okay,
yeah, it's both.
Okay.
We have because what we found is that people were like still connected to Inglewood who may not live there anymore.
Like me,
and they're like, oh, I just want to be a part, even though it's a resident association. They so love the mission and the work that we're doing that it didn't matter where they lived, and so they will still join.
All right. Welcome back to Empower Hour. I am your host, Bertina Power, and I was just in here on the break and talking to Mrs. Inglewood, also known as Asia Butler, who is a longtime resident, parents and family, generational pretty much, over there in Inglewood, concerned about for your daughter what was going on in that neighborhood on the tail ends of a flight mission, like you were going to leave and move to another state altogether, that on the tail end of that decided and said, no, I want to stay and let's fight, because if I don't, who will, right? Like, if not me, then who? If not now, then when, right? And that's what people always say when they get ready to come up across the mission. Yeah. And so currently, RAGE, which is Residents Association of Greater Inglewood, you said that you don't have to be a resident of Inglewood. People like myself who have a connection to Inglewood can still help. Yeah. So when we first was founded, it was all residents who founded it, who all lived in the various automatic wards. We were all like, let's just unite and be RAGE, right? But then, like, when we start having meetings and focus groups and conversations around the community, they would say, well, my grandmother still lives here, or I go to school here, or I work here, and how can I be a part of this mission? I support your movement, I support your mission. And so we opened it up to non-residents as well, but the majority are residents. And you started this in November of 2010? Yeah, November of 2010. So you're on a 7-year anniversary this year, right? That's fast. Yeah, it is. It did go really, really quick, and even we grew really significantly. We went from 13 about 300 people now. And and just becoming just a really great voice of Inglewood, just another narrative that a lot of folks do not hear from the community, because they think we're all in one box and everyone is one type of way. Some of us are homeowners, educators, some of us, we have a mix. We don't discriminate, because at the end of the day, it takes a village, and we need everyone. The returning folks who are coming, the returning citizens, we need the young people, we need our elders. So we have village meetings purposely, and we call them that, Inglewood Village Meetings, on a bi-monthly basis. That's open to the public, and we usually have hundreds of residents who come out, and we speak about different issues and topics that are really hot topics that impact residents of Inglewood. So our next one is November 21st. At Johnson. Yeah, we move around the whole community on purpose, because Greater Inglewood is so big, and that includes Inglewood and West Inglewood, where Lynn Bloom is, and so we move around to touch more residents. So our next one is at Johnson College Prep on November 21st. And actually, the exact address of Johnson. I want to say off the back, I should look at my website. It is 6350 South Stewart. Okay, so 6350 South Stewart is where the meeting is on November 21st. November 21st. So out there, empower our guests and fans. If you want to participate, you do not have to be a resident. So all my Lynn Bloom Eagles that I know are watching and have a love for the Inglewood area. Some of you grew up there. Some of you, like you said, some of my friends and family still live there, as well as I just want to help that area. You can see that it's growing. I mean, 63rd and Halsted now has a complex that is going, that is moving about. But Rage's primary focus is education, youth development, economic development, and civic empowerment, right? Yes. So you all are now encompassing more than just probably its original.
Oh yeah, way more. I mean, I think once we started, we wanted to make sure we had a strong voice from the community. We wanted to make sure we helped change the negative perception. But the more and more people who heard that message, it became really contagious, and so it just started growing. So then we started tackling issues around tax increment financing, what happens to closed schools, or things that really impact the area. We are very high level thinking, so we look at the entire community from a 30,000 square foot view and think about what needs to happen to really revive the community from the inside out. So we were instrumental with the large lot program that allowed homeowners to buy a lot for $1. We take over parks in the summer to make sure that families and young people are utilizing and having fun in our parks. We work on safety fun in those parks, I'm sure. Yes. Right. So we do things all year round. It was so funny. We just had some young people volunteer with us on our vacant lot where we're building the planter boxes and benches and things like that. And they said, I didn't know you guys worked all year round. I was like, yeah, we're not just in the summer. It's all year round, and it's a lot of work to do. And we all love our work. I love the work. And we just recently, I was just there today. I just recently started a development group that will now start renovating homes, rehab homes. Right, I was going to be like that comment because you may not know this, but my career background is in real estate, I know that Inglewood had come and had gotten really hot on the #1 list for everybody buying up any and everything. Yes. But the key and the concern that most had in this area is that it might be bought up by still these outside hands-off landlords who could care less about who's in them, what's happening, and then the property goes right back into another place, but they've made all this money off of it. That's exactly what's been happening over the last 10 or 15 years, and that's where we only have 27% of home ownership, and that's why our community is in the problems that it is now, because we have these ghost landlords who bought this property looking to flip it, could care less what's happening on these blocks, and so that's where people like Rage come in and say, look, what's happening on these blocks, how do we report them, and then also how do we buy them ourselves, and we buy the block. That's what I did on my
Take
block.
back Inglewood, right? That's what she says. Are you ready to take back Inglewood? And you do that block by block, building by building, team by team, school by school, right?
That's exactly right.
Right, that is exactly how you do it. So now, I just want to make sure that everybody knows before they may have to tune off that how they can connect with you and what's going on. So you are on all of the social media. Tell them where they can get you.
They can follow us at Rage. If you just Google Rage Inglewood, you go to our website, it's rageinglewood.org. On Facebook, we're Rage, R-A-G-E, Resident Association of Greater Inglewood. On Instagram, Rage_Inglewood, and on Twitter, join_Rage. But if you just go to our website, all our social media sites are right there. We'll put you there. We are very, very virtual. We're always posting, doing everything we can do to let people, for one, see another voice that comes out of our community, and also highlighting the great people and the assets that are there.
Is that what you do on the website too? Do you highlight some, give accolades of what's going on and who's
we do. We have something called Member Monday. So we highlight our member.
I love tag names.
We hashtag Member Mondays, and I also serve as a lead steward of a campaign called Inglewood Rising. So Inglewood Rising, really looking at how we're both are indigenous people with very shared values and very shared culture and so much of the same, and that if we actually join forces, we can actually overturn the machine that so many of us are fighting, or either build our own systems. And that's usually, I always call myself a community strategist, because I feel like as a strategist, you may sometimes can't constantly fight a system that has been built and is so powerful that you can't navigate through it, but you can build new systems. And so I'm always thinking about how do I build new systems. If I have to go around this so-called machine, how do I build my own system? And that's what RAGE is an example of building a new system. It was not a resident association in our community. It was not. We're not a 501c3. We're not looking to become a 501c3. We're not getting any government funding. We wanted to build something new that and something innovative, and hence the name RAGE, as something about passion and everything. So.
Yeah,
I just love it.
That is so awesome, Asia Butler, Mrs. Inglewood, who has started the organization RAGE, which is the Resident Association of Greater Inglewood. You know, mostly because of, like you said, what was already in your DNA,
right?
And then what was something you saw that was needed as you begin to have a family and rear yourself in the hometown and the area where your parents and grandparents grew up. So I'm so happy and honored again to have you come on the show, and then I know I speak for the members of the Akarama Foundation Incorporated when I say again to you, congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. And then whatever it is that we can do, you constantly know that at 6220 South Ingleside, we're not Inglewood, we Woodlawn, but that we are connected, as you would say, with those communities associated with what it is that we are needing to do for our community.
Love it.
We will be right back after these messages. You are listening to Urban Broadcast Media, and don't forget to follow and like me at Bertina Power. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and LinkedIn. All right, we'll be right back after these messages.
How you like Snapchat?
Huh?
How you like Snapchat?
Listen, girl, I got my little team. Okay, be on that Snapchat. I don't know nothing about it. I think I got about 5 friends.
I know. I forget to snap.
Yes, right. I don't think snap all the time. They snap, video. Ooh, can we open the door during the break, Mama Sita? Because it's not, you know, they turn the heat on and they lock me in here. I can't strip today. No stripping today.
I know.
Hey, let's see. Hey, Shauna. Hey, Iris. Hey, Abby. Hey, Gloria. People that joined in. Hey, Maurice. Hey, Eric. Just wanted to say hi. Those who have joined us.
Yes,
that's what's up.
It's a lot of work, but it's really rewarding.
Huh?
It's a lot of work, but it's very, very rewarding.
Yes. Oh, listen.
Yeah.
The hours and things that I put in associated with as 2 years as the president.
Yeah.
With Akarama, and they don't make it.
Right. Yeah.
So
That's nice.
I absolutely know what you're referencing. Who has this one? Yes. You're doing a good job. You're doing good talking in the microphone. It's like, you're a pro at this, man.
Yeah,
she's a pro. She is a pro. Don't worry about telling her to speak up. Yeah, and tomorrow we're going to have Dr. Robert House, the New Life Baptist Church, coming on tomorrow to talk about what he does in the neighborhood. Leon's barbecue coming back.
That's good. That's a good thing. Alright, let's see. But now we are dealing with this new high school. That's a new thing. It's a blessing and a curse. The new high school coming to Inglewood, because four of the schools are potentially going to close because of it. And it's really sad to just hear, you know, the young people and what these families might have to go through, and to get us so for us to get an investment of $75 million for the new school, basically wiping out all the neighborhood schools. So it's been, I was just telling the steering committee.
So is it a charter school or
it's gonna be a neighborhood school?
It's still gonna be a neighborhood school. Okay. So then those who don't go to the other schools still have a school to attend.
But the ones that are affected now, who are in school now, won't be able to go. And that's
senior housing, somebody wants to talk about.
Okay.
So let's talk about that. We'll talk about that, Clarence, okay? You all work with, you said you work with the seniors?
Yeah, well, we have tons of senior housing. Like, a lot, like, we have a huge population of senior housing, and a lot of different projects are on the horizon around senior housing. It's not something that I'm directly working on, but it's been some aldermen who, they have a few plans already that are building new senior housing.
Okay.
And then some of the vacant schools, people have threw out the idea of having those become senior housing spaces.
All right, we are back. You are listening to Urban Broadcast Media. I am Bertina Power, and my guest in the studio today is the one and only Mrs. Inglewood, also known as Aisha Butler. She's an activist and all-around community strategist, you know, just homeowner and everything over there in the area. And we had a Facebook follower ask us about senior housing over there and what relations does Rage or any of the organizations you know have to help with the senior housing. I mean, is there an issue there?
No, it's not really an issue. I mean, we do have a large population of elders in our community, and there definitely seem to be efforts to create senior housing. Actually, one of the schools, my understanding is one of the schools that were it's either going to be veteran or senior housing, but that has came up plenty of times because of the tax credits that can go along with that, and because of just some of the ideas. And so even before Joanna Thompson died, she had had some plans in place for the 16th Ward to build some senior housing. So it's not something that I'm working on directly, but it still has a lot to do with the aesthetics of the community. So it's something that's really important to us as well.
Yeah, and you know what, you just brought up what I forgot, that you lost an alderman, you know, very young too, and right in the middle of a lot that she had going on, and some plans that were going on, and then you had to get somebody else in there and get to work on, you know, stabilizing.
Yeah, so 16th Ward, so Tony Folks used to be the alderman of the 15th Ward, and then she ran for the alderman of the 16th Ward, and so she's our current 16th Ward alderman, and it is some things that were already on the books around some developments and some senior housing, and I work pretty well with Alderman Tony Folks, and she gets it. She has the majority of Inglewood, probably the most who, I would say out of every one of all of our aldermen, she is probably the one who really actually advocates for Inglewood more so than the other ones, because they have Chatham and Woodlawn and Arden Gresham, so sometimes Inglewood is a pastime to them. But I would definitely say that her being the heartbeat of Inglewood, she works a lot with a lot of people within the community.
Well, that's good, and congratulations on that alderman for, you know, stepping up and running, and then not only taking the seat but doing something with it. Right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, she is the hottest area in Inglewood because all that area with the development is all kind of around her.
What's going on around there? Now, you have been a social media maven too, right? You know, so you're blogging and everything. So all of that's on the website, the access to get to.
Yeah, so I don't put a lot about me on Rage's website, but so when before Rage, just marketing and branding was just something I always have been into, and so you know I use those skills to market and brand Inglewood, and then of course to help with the brand of Rage, and then also myself as Mrs. Inglewood. So online, if people want to follow me on Twitter, I'm Mrs. MRS, because I am married, _ Inglewood, or either on Instagram or on Snapchat. And yes, I have a blog too, which is Mrs. _ Inglewood blogspot.com, and I did that really to just.
What is that again? Mrs. _
It's Mrs. _ it's probably all together. I'm sorry. It's probably Mrs. Inglewood.blogspot.com. Blogspot.
Blog. Okay. Blog. BLOG. That's all. Like, what is she saying?
Yeah.
Blogspot.
Yeah, I haven't wrote on it in a while, but it was like my diary in a way. When I first started the work, actually, if someone was to read it, they will see the transformation of when I started Rage, because I was doing other projects before Rage was started. I did a project called Docs and Dialogue, which was a film series to really get the elders and the young people together in a room to talk, to look at film, and then actually have a real critical conversation about it. And then from that, that's when I met those like dynamic residents, and I was like, oh my God, we need to be something. Do something together.
Build something.
Yeah, but the project is what brought us together through Docs and Dialogue.
Now, I was doing a little bit of work with Greater Inglewood CDC, and you've been working with them over there in areas.
I'm the founder of the Greater Inglewood CDC. It was 4 of us who actually, so at the time when Rage was started, we had work groups, and one of our work groups as our education and youth, and we also had economic development. And so our economic development group kept asking the question of, well, do we have a chamber? Do we have a local community, a CDC? Like, who's doing that work?
Gotcha.
And it's been work done over the years, but usually the CDCs kind of jump in the community, then they build some houses, and they jump back out. And it's not resident-led, and it's not community-led. So we're very, very intentional in building a CDC that was very resident-focused and resident-led with the pillars of rebrand, rebuild, revitalize. So that was what we came up with. Of course, rebrand was the area that I put all my hard work in.
Right.
But eventually I started seeing that it was taken away from me with Rage and the growth of Rage. And so eventually I had to just say, okay, let me let the CDC kind of stand alone.
Right,
let me make sure that Rage is still cultivated and growing, and we will possibly meet sometime in the middle. And I think right now we may be meeting back again and figuring out ways to work together.
Good. Because they were pretty instrumental, I think, in working with the 63rd Halsted complex to be built over there.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. So everybody had, which I loved about the square, was everyone had a role. So so what they did, which was very instrumental, is make sure there was Black businesses who had products on the shelf at Whole Foods. So they did like supplier conferences, and they did things to really cultivate these small entrepreneurs, and they still are doing work to cultivate small entrepreneurs. And so we all, even Teamwork Inglewood had a hand in it, Rage did. It was just a whole bunch of organizations who all worked together to make sure that the Inglewood Square and Whole Food was done right. And so
and it's looking very good, and it's already a whole year.
I know.
Talking about time flying, that has been built and worked and being used for an entire year already. So
and if you go on Friday after 5, it's turned up.
It's the 5
after 5. And at the Whole Foods Inglewood, oh my God.
Do they have the
like
$5 mimosas?
So what they do is a $5, they give for $5 you do wine tastings and food at different stations, and then they have a DJ. My husband's a DJ. He DJ'd a couple weeks ago. And it was
so it's a turn up, huh? So it's a party on 63rd and Halsted.
Oh my God, I can't even believe it's Whole Foods anymore. When I go in there, I'm like, oh, this is too much.
This is too much. All right, well, you heard it, but you got something to do on Friday. Go by Whole Foods after 5 and put $5 in your pocket, and you can have a good time. It sounds like
and go anyway to support the local Black business. I see people, when Whole Foods came, everybody's like gentrification, but really, we was very intentional to make sure that Black wealth and community wealth was built by having these Black entrepreneurship on the shelf. Many of them are now moving to other Whole Foods. This is the only Whole Foods in the nation that have these many African American products on the shelf. So even if you don't really like Whole Foods, and a lot of people don't, go just to support the Black-owned products.
And I've had a couple of my guests come on the show that are in there, that are actually started right there, as you said, in the shelves, and have grown and shown some great success there, and then go and launch into the downtown and the south side and all the other locations on the Whole Foods. And so, great opportunity. Inglewood has always been one of those places in those areas that can produce some massive, funding, economic wealth, as well as, stars to be, educational people, as long as you just stay focused with that, right?
Yes,
and that's what Rage is about, and that's what you all are continuing to do. And so I want to thank you one more time and congratulate you again, not only on all your other accomplishments that I read about, but also on receiving the Target 1 educational enrichment program from Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Theta Omega Chapter, and the Akarama Foundation on yesterday, November the 5th. at that brunch. So now I want to just remind everybody about some community events and things that they have access to, and that is women in trade, Chicago Women in Trades. Yes, there's a 12-week program. It started for this 12-week already, but reach out and see if you can find out more about it. It's called Chicago Women in Trades 2, the number 2.org. And you can call, can go by or log in and see, because they have these classes. Now, what about these classes? Enrolling in their free 12-week training program for construction industry or welding training, and preparing yourself for a 12-week program for a career in that business, because as we've discussed many times, that is a growing field, and if women can get in there and make that money, all the better it will be. Now, on Friday, November the 17th, the Met Jubilee Peace Planter Awards will be happening right here at the Met. That's the Metropolitan Apostolic Community Church, 4100 South King Drive, where Reverend Dr. Finney is the pastor. Tickets are $50 and the VIP tickets are $100. The reception is at 6, the awards program at 7. And of course, this week, which is the second Wednesday of every month, at the Akurama Foundation Community Service Center, they have the free legal clinic, right, at 6220 South Ingleside from 4 to 6 p.m. You can walk in and get free confidential legal advice on divorce, child support, expungement, housing, eviction, you name it. So I'd like for you to share that with your Inglewood, because you do not have to live in Woodlawn to participate in this. They just don't do personal injury, traffic, or criminal. All other things, you can come and get some free legal help. And as you are a HBCU mother, then we want to continue to promote that on Saturday, November the 11th at South Shore International Preparatory High School from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. They will have a HBCU college fair. So I'm sure Spelman and Hampton and some of those other schools will be there. As we conclude our show, thank you again, Asia Butler, Mrs. Inglewood, for coming on the show, and congratulations again to all your accomplishments. So I end my show with a quote, and that quote, the show is Empower Hour here at noon, so don't forget to like me and follow me on all of the the same for Rage. Google her, go to her website and link into all of that, and don't forget to download the UBM app from your Google and iTunes stores. Now, so my quote is from Douglas Adams. I love it. To give real service, you must add something which cannot be bought or measured with money. And that is sincerity and integrity. And I think that you, Ms. Butler, Mrs. Butler, as well as Mrs. Inglewood, that is exactly what you did with Rage. It's not about money. It was nothing you can measure, right? Like, you didn't know you were going to get a full scholarship from the work you were doing for your daughter to go to Spelman, right? But it was sincerity and integrity that you did, and you continue to do for 7 years now with Rage. And so congratulations again with that. And you are listening to Empower Hour. My hour is up. And so we'll talk to you tomorrow. We're doing good in the hood for the week. We'll continue with Dr. Robert House of New Life Baptist Church of Chicago. He was also an award recipient from the Akurama Foundation. So we will be talking to him about what his organization does for doing good in the hood.
Thank you so
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yes. What's up? What's up, everybody? So that was just say goodbye to everybody.